Hello guys, how are you? Really long time no see. I am some personal matter, so I can't manage to upload all the videos. I really want to share in my mind but I have my real life. I'm some personal matter, so I can't manage to create any clips. Okay, let's leave it. Now I came back. I give most of my time to sharing all this useful cybersecurity and then penetration testing videos. So now I came back already. Okay. Thanks for you who subscribe my channels and watched my video clip previously. We already uploaded that once. I really thanks for that. Now keep subscribe and watch my video. Any comment you can easy to give me, any positive or negative comments I can easy to take is your comments. Okay, today I was sharing about the Nmap. So what is the Nmaps? So Nmap is one of the application that can manage to scan your local PC or remote PC, whether any applications are running, which ports are running, and which services, which operating systems, all these things you can easy to check from your Nmap applications. Okay, this one is the already install most of the operating system, but some operating system might not have, so you can install yourself. So Nmap is very famous network scanning tool, so maybe we can call it the pop scanner. We can scan the port number, which ports are opening, which ports are closing, which ports are filter, all these things you can use yourself. Okay, so before that, this is the main page of the Nmap. You can go and check. There is a lot of different switches, IR, all this thing. Is if you first time you use this Nmap, right? So it will be feed. Oh, it's quite messy. How am I understand all this? Okay, so quite easy. Before that, I was sharing some concept about the network scanning. Okay, let's go through on the Cloudflare website. Before you scanning the things, right, you need to know that what is the computer ports, the port on the networking. Okay, so the computer port is some one of the port that running is a software based and managed by your operating system. For example, you enable the you want to use the SSH connections, right? So in order to connect the SSH, you need to start the SSH service, or maybe open SSH or any types of SSH. So the default port number is 22. You need to run the service, then you have to check whether the port is listening or not, which means listening is somebody need to go and connect the listening port. So this is a port. So every application have their own port number. So most of the operating system, they have the default port numbers already set. For example, when you run the HTTP service, then HTTP is a port 80. If you install the 443 certificate, then it became the 443. Or you need to disable the port 80. So this thing is all the computer applications are well-known port number. Okay, this port you cannot use. For example, you want to use the third party application, want to install on your operating system, but most of the port are already well known, so you cannot use the same port with the HTTP or SSH port. If you want to use the same port, you need to change the default port of the SSH. So this is the thing, you cannot conflict with the other port number. So this port is there, basically is a software based application managed by the operating system. Okay, so there is a different port number, all these things. So before we go into the port, you need to understand the OSI7 layer. We have the OSI7 layer, physical layer, data link, network layer, transport layer, section layer, and presentation layer, application. Most of the ports are running on the application layer. Okay, application layer, which means there is HTTP, SSH, FTP, SFTP, all these ports are using on the application layer. Okay, so the transport layer, where is the TCP UDP, which means the transporting, for example, DNS is using the UDP port number 53. Okay, so this is the port number. Network layer is routing, route the network between your Singapore to Malaysia, Malaysia to Singapore, all these things. Data link layer, switches, all these things, the cable connection. So you need to remember that you need to know all this network layer, OSI7 layer, how it's working. So this is the port. What is a different port number? This is a different port number. For example, 20 and 21 is using for fine transfer protocol. Port 22 is the SSH. Okay, port 53 is for DNS. So inside DNS, you can use most DNS service are UDP protocol. Okay, most of the applications are using the TCP protocol. So all these port number are based on the TCP and UDP, most of the port. Okay, so there is a port 80 is for HTTP transfer, port 123 is for network time protocol. Most of the common port, well-known port, you need to remember that by heart. For example, SSH, what is the port number? 22. Okay, what is the HTTP port? 80443. Encrypted SFTP, what is it? 22. Or normal FTP is there 21, something like that. You need to remember by heart everything. Some of the, for example, port 3389 is a remote desktop connection, RDP connection for the Windows user. Okay, so all this port you need to know that before you scanning the network. Okay, so this is the TCP port number. You can go on the Wikipedia page. All this well-known port. Okay, well-known port is 0 to 103, which means the operating system already reset to use the port number. So also excuse me. So when you're using the operating system already using port number, right, you need to use the custom port number. For example, you want to use the port 80 to run your third-party application. So you need to change the default HTTP port number. You cannot run simultaneously with HTTP service and then your third-party application cannot. Ports should become ports should not be must not be conflict. Okay, so ports should be unique. For example, your third-party application, the port 81, your HTTP running on the 80, so something like that. You cannot be conflict the port number. So this all the 0 to 103, you will see, right, all this port. There's a lot of different port number. SNMP is a 199 Unix SNMP. Okay, so there's a lot of different port numbers are running, but all these things are stopped at the 1023. You can go through inside the Wikipedia, you will see all the different port number or FTPS. So FTPS, there's a different port number. It's using the secure, so 989 and 990. So a lot of different port number. SFTP, FTP also have. So 103, all these things are registered well-known port number. So let's see whether there is any other thing we already know the port number. Some port number I don't even know. Only the people already using on their services, already familiar people, they will know their application using port number. Most of the people don't know, most of them only we know the common port number, right? So for example, the DNS service, DNS service is the named resolution service. This one is using on the port 53. Okay, port 53 domaining service. Okay, so this is a port 53. So this one we must know everybody because we are connecting on the internet. There is a DNS server to finding the IP address for the specific domain address. So this is the DNS service working. So telnet is using the port 23. Previously telnet is using, after SSH came out, telnet nobody want to use because it is encrypted text communication, so which means you can easily do intercept the connection and read their packages. So this also well-known port is 0 to 103. You have to know, you have to remember, or you have to memorize what is the well-known port number. Well-known port number is 0 to 103. So when you scan the Nmap, right, it will be default is scanning only the well-known port, and then there's the register port number. Register port number, which means third-party application using port. For example, you want to choose the Microsoft SQL. So Microsoft SQL is using, I think, 3306. I'm not sure. Let me check. You want to run the SQL server on your PC. You this after you running the service, right, 3306 is it? I'm not sure. Microsoft, in here, right, Microsoft SQL. Okay, 3306, I'm still remember. Okay, so when you're running the SQL service on your server, right, so there is a you must need to check whether 33 port is listening or not. If you buy something connection problem, you need to check whether pod is listening. If not pod is listening, which means SQL service not running. Okay, sometimes service is running but pod is not listening. Maybe there's some other issue you need to troubleshoot yourself. There's a basic thing you need to know, that whether the pod is running or not, listening or not. Okay, so all these pods are registered pod number by the third party company, Microsoft, maybe some other company, you know. For example, there is in just now I saw that the Nessus scanner, right? Nessus port scanner, Nessus vulnerability scanner is using the 1241 or something like that. 1241. I think Nessus security scanner. So when you run the Nessus on your application, the port is using is the 1241. Okay, whether it's a maybe the HTTP need to access from the browser, or maybe only from the command line, I'm not sure. So this is a Nessus security scanner using port number. Okay, so you already know what is the port is, and then what is the UDP and TCP port number. Then finally you need to know the handshake. When you accessing the server, right, client sending the synchronizing message request, then server will be reply back there, acknowledge, then our clients also send back the acknowledge, and then connection will be established. So most of the scan are using the sync scan, which means they keep sending the sync, whether there is a connection or not, whether any ports are using or not. There's a different types of scanning type. Let's go through on the Nmap first. Okay. Okay, so first of all, I will scan the send network. Before that, you need to remember that I will using the Nmap organization to scan, right? But if you want to use other organization, this is a criminal. This is really a crime. If you know intruding the other person network without any consent, and then you scanning the network is not really good. Okay, don't try on the other third party company website, for example Google, Facebook, any other things, right? So you should not be send a lot of package to disturb their applications. Okay, so I will use the Nmap to, for example, Nmap. Then I will scan the default. I don't want to put any switch, just only default. So just now I already copy, then paste. Okay, I didn't put any switch. For example, I want to scan the wish port, I want to scan the wish service. I just scan only. So it will take a few seconds based on your network connections speed, then it will come back soon. So you have to wait a little bit. It take a lot of time, but I already scanned, but I'm using the different switches. I use -V and -A to scan the network. So it take a few seconds to come back. Okay, finish already. Okay, after I scanning the default scanning, they are using the, just now we know that already, right? The well-known port 02103. It's a default scan. You don't need to mention I want to scan the 02103. You don't need to mention the default Nmap. We're using the 02103 application port range to scan the remote system. So when you scan on the Nmap organization, right, org, then you will see that all these ports are open. You know, the state also open. There's a different state, right? Open, close, and filter all this state. You can go and read on the Nmap manual page. So this is all this port are opening. Port 22 open, port 80. So let's see whether I can go inside the SSH. Uh, oh, what is this? The just now, because SSH port is opening, right? So I want to see whether there is a real port is opening or not. Now SSH assessing, but it's not the real the connection standards are. Okay, so it's yes. Okay, so actually they asked me to type the password. Okay, so the remote system is already open the port. I don't know the username and password. I use the default one, my default password. Then it's remote system opening the SSH port number, but I type the same Okay. Anyway, you already know that, right? The remote system opening the SSH port, so you can manage to connect, but you have to know the username and password. Okay, so let's cancel the scanning. This time I will scan the. I just want to know whether there is any. You go back to the system, the Nmap scanning, right? Then you can see the OS detection. OS detection using the minus O. So you want to know the OS detection, whether which operating system running on the remote system. You can easy to check as well. Nmap minus dash O or minus or whatever you can call. Okay, Sam, enter. Oh, something wrong. Oh, sorry, not zero, it's O, capital O. Oh, so when you scanning the remote system, right? If there is a MF two types of scanning. It's a privileged scan or non-privileged scan. Just now I'm scanning the remote network, right? It's a non-privileged scanning. Oh, I think my domain is something wrong. When you scan, right, it will be ask you to type there because of quitting because it require the root privilege. So all this root privilege and privilege types of scanning I will share on there. Next and map at the advanced scanning. This the part one is I only want to share some basics thing how you can scan the things. Okay, so this one is require the sudo privilege to do the scan the network because you are sending the same sync package to the remote system. You must have the privilege scan to the remote system. Okay, so now I already use the sudo to scan the remote system. So this time I want to know what types of operating system are running on the remote system. Just now we already scanned, right? We didn't see what is it, you saw this, right? This is sync scanning. So this type of scanning require the privilege. You need to, you must be the privilege of this system to sending the scan to the remote system because any intrusion happen right from the remote system, and then they will point, hey, we have a lot of things scanning from the system. They will send give you the IP address. Hey, this is your IP address. You are sending a lot of scan to our network, so that you must have somebody need to take uh, responsibility because that's why this type of scanning require the privilege. Okay, not all the user cannot send the scanning, this type of scanning. Please wait, it's still sending the sensitive scan to determine the operating system, remote service operating system. Okay, let's go back. Previously I am scanning already. Some are using the different switches, so I already saw there is a the version is using operating system Ubuntu 2.13. Ubuntu Linux is running on the remote system using the port 22. Okay, for the port 18 is using the Apache. So all this detailed information you need to use the correct switches. The default is just only scan the port number, that's all, but you need to know specific information, right? You need to use the correct switches. Okay, let's go back whether it's finished. Oh, still scanning. Warning, giving up on the port because retransmission kept hit. I don't know what is this error. Let me find out. Maybe this time I'm using the different switch to scan the network. Oh, it take too much time, huh? Okay, so but you need to remember all this switch, huh? What is the V is the checking the version control. Okay, you need to remember that the V is the version control, is for I say OS detections. I'm not sure is for something. Yeah, this is switch for the on dash V and dash A. So you need to when you dash V and dash A, so it can be scanned on your that remote port number, the default well-known port number, and then running services and then version every day you want to know. You need to use the mine dash v and dash a scan to switches to use the mmap. Okay, but that one is only using for the uh well-known port number. Okay, so this one will quite take time, so I will go back another tab. Then this time I will only scan the specific port. I don't want to scan all this. Okay, I only want to scan the port number 22. Okay, let's scan nmap dash v dash a, then dash p, which means I want to specify which port I want to connect, port 22. Then this time anyway, let's try on the Google port 80, whether the port 80 is open or not. Okay, okay, it's scanning on the Google's. And just for education purpose, I don't want you to intrude anything, just for the very light scanning, only port number 80. Then it's scanning. This is the remote IP address here. This one also. uh oh, and maybe it's just now I see 26 birthday. Oh my god. Wow, it's really great, right? Long time already. Maybe some of the people don't know what is the Nmap is using. Yeah, only computing people will be know the what is the Nmap usage. Okay, it's still scanning. Okay, finally finished the scanning. Then there is a SAM scanning results came out. So I scan the port 80, but there is additional information I want. I put the dash v and dash a. Okay, then finally scan back, the port 80 is open. The version is KWay operating system. Okay, so all these things are related with the port ID number because I want the additional informations. Okay, so this is service HTTP open is port is sorry, the port is already open, the TCP port 80. Okay, this is all these things. This is they are using the gateway server or something like that. They are not using the default operating system, so we cannot see the operating system and then the version of the HTTP software. Okay, so this time I will scan only the port ID, see whether it's different or not. I will remove the dash v and dash a. Then if you remove the dash v and dash zero, you can only see the port ID. That's all. There is no any. Just now we saw that, right? The version information is totally disappear. So that the mmap, when you're scanning the network, you need to remember all the required information, which you want to know the version information. You need to remember which type of switch you need to add when you are scanning. Okay, this time I will scan the port 80 and 443, so I will scan only two port, dash b 443 80. So I will scan port two port only, 443 and 80. Let's see whether both ports are open or not. Okay, I think it's something wrong. It's I think it's only scan the 443, not scan the, I need to use the comma, is it? So all these sentences are, yeah, so all these sentences are also quite important. If you are type the incorrect sentence, right, you think that okay, the port is open only 443 not 80, but because of your sentence is incorrect, that's why mmap didn't respond. Hey, you need to correct the sentence. You need to know that whether you are your input that comments are correct or not. Okay, if it's incorrect, you will be get the incorrect output. So you need to remember everything before you type, and you need to check details, everything. Okay, so this time I will remove all these box information, only scan the whole Google system, whether any ports are open or not. Then you will see all the port opening from the Google. Okay, so when I see, right, only these two ports are open, I remove the port informations. It scanned the range between the 0 to 103. Then it saw all these ports are open. Okay, so do you want to try any other switches? This time, do you want to scan the port number dash P? If you want to scan the 0 to every port now, you need to mention the port range. For example, 0 to 100. I want to scan the only 0 to 100 port number is www.google.com. So you cannot see the 443 port is opening. Okay, they will scan only the port range between 0 to 100. So port 80 is one of the port, right? Enter there, so you can only see the port 80 is open, right? You can see the HTTP. So you need to know which port range you want to scan, or you want to scan only specific port, or you want to scan the port range, or you want to scan everything based on your requirement on the Nmap. Okay, so you go and try, then you check the Nmap, some scanning, switches, and what is the privilege and unprivilege. I will share on the next Nmap advanced clip. This is all for the all only the basics information, how you can scan the Nmap, how can this one is already finished, is it? Just now, right? Oh, this one is still scanning. I don't know what is wrong with that. Okay, let me cancel the things, clear it. And then there is a different switches, how we can use it, or OS detection using the capital O for the OS detection. Some are useful. All these useful things you need to remember by heart. Okay, all these things you need to scan all this version, but you have to use this dash V and dash A, and you want to use the subnet range, that use this the subnet range. Okay, or for example you want to scan all the 192.168 subnet, then you need to give the subnet range. You don't want to use the domain, also can, no problem. Okay, so there is a different way of scanning. Basically the Nmap is really powerful scanner. It can use a lot of things. So in this basics, I will not share all these basics, only advanced, all the advanced things. I will only share the basics, and next clip I will come back with the advanced and some tutorial, how you can scan the remote network, how which switches you have to remember, So what is the sync scan, what is the privilege and unprivileged scan. But before that, you need to go and read this all this port informations, how the ports are working, what is the different layers. Then well-known port, register port, you need to know what is the well-known port range, what is the register port range, and then you need to know the sync scans, how is the three-way handshake is working, all these things you need to know. That this is the OSI 7 layer. Do you know how this go through from the switches to another host? So you need to go and read on the internet and doing some research on that lah. After that, you understand the concept of the ports and the application running on the network layers and the application layer. Then we work on the Nmap. Is really easy because you already know the concept. Writing comment is sending the comment, the comments quite easy, but you need to know the background concept before you using the Nmap. Okay, thank you so much, guy. Do you have any comment? Please happily write any negative or positive comment. I can easy to accept. Next clip I will really share all the advanced, how you can use the Nmap on the advanced level. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.